can't feel the weight, and I want you on my skin like a bad burn, bad burn. Oh, head rush, I drop to the floor, oh, head slush. I can't feel the weight, and I want you on my skin like a bad burn, bad burn.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be in this beautiful, fast-changing, amazing planet of ours. This is Metaphysical Meetup with Marc Live. I am coming to you live from my healing and prospecting studio here in West Seattle. Stop. There we go. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to have a great topic today. We're going to talk about flowers. It is November, so I have changed into my winter attire as we go into the dark season, right? We get to where it starts getting dark. We're going to fall back here in a little bit, and it's just a time I think that is relevant to reflect and rejuvenate and get ready for what's ahead in 2025. Now, in 2025, that is the year of the 9 from a numerology standpoint. So that's going to mean completion. And if you study numerology like I do, or anything metaphysical, numerology goes through a pattern of 1 through 9, and then at 9 it repeats, and then it starts over at the 1. So we're in the year of the 8 right now, which is all about manifesting, the infinity, a lot of ups and lots of downs, lots of ups and lots of downs. And then next year we'll go into the 9 energy in just a few months here, 2 months actually. I just looked at my calendar. I got to change my calendar. And so it just means we complete cycles, and then the 9 starts over and we go into the year of the 1. So we're moving into a completion year in 2025, and it's going to be that time to reflect, to rejuvenate, to revive, take that darkness, that fall season as we move into the winter season to prepare us for next year. And so this morning I'm going to talk about flowers, and flowers only become flowers after they fall. And that's something to think about on your journey. Maybe you're having a rough go. Maybe you're in a tough way. I'm very mindful of when the weather changes like this, especially here in Seattle, because we actually have a thing called SAD, seasonal affective disorder, which it really can impact your personality. It can create depression, anxiety. And so this is where I actually start loading up on the vitamin C, and I really try to get as much vitamin D as I can during these winter months. I've been doing as part of my rehabilitation, I've been doing this infrared cocoon pod that you get into, and it heats up really, really, really hard. You end up burning, like, for 30 minutes, you burn like 300 and some calories. And then I get on this vibrating mat that it has light that helps your skin. And so it vibrates for about 12 minutes. So vibration, a lot of futurists have talked about, all the way from Edgar Cayce to Gene Roddenberry to Nikola Tesla. They always talked about that the future of medicine will be based on vibration, frequency, energy, tuning forks, singing bowls, sound therapy, right? And there is some truth to that, because you can take a singing bowl, or you can take what am I trying to say? Like a frequency, and you can put it on a table. So like, let's say, like this is my Sansula. This is all frequency, but you can put hertz frequencies, and these bowls are the healing frequencies, and you can put salt or sand on the table, and on a certain frequencies, it actually creates visual. You can see it, and just go to YouTube and put vibration table, working with frequencies, and it will actually create sacred geometry, perfect circles, perfect lotus flowers, triangles, squares. It's very fascinating. So there is something to energy and frequency and vibration. And so I do these modalities to help during this time when we're transitioning. We're going to set the clocks back. It gets dark here. I hope we get away from setting the clocks back. Hopefully, legislation will hopefully move us forward so we don't have to keep, because they show that there's actually some negative things that happen when you set your clock back in your sleep patterns. But it gets dark here in Seattle like at 3:30. It's like dark, and it's like, so the nights become longer, the days become shorter. But this is also a good time to really become aware of your auric field, your energy. Like I said, I start ramping up on vitamin C. I start getting some vitamin D, some B12s, work out a little bit more intensely, like I did this morning as part of my rehab. And of course, wear the warm clothes, right? So I'm going to just give some shout outs to you. Again, this is our first Friday of the month. So this is also Diamonds Day. So if you are one of my Patreon subscribers or one of my Diamonds Hub subscribers, you can get all the information right here at marclainhart.com. And for my subscribers, on the first Friday of every month is dedicated to my subscribers. So if you go to the Diamonds Hub, if you're a subscriber, you'll know where to go. You can go to the Patreon page or the subscribers Diamonds Hub page, and there is a Zoom link that is only for my subscribers. You won't be able to get it anywhere else unless you become a subscriber. And then at 11 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time morning session and 3:30 p.m. session, I opened up the Zoom room, and you can come in and you can get a reading. You can have a conversation. We can do a meditation, a healing. It's really your time as one of my subscribers to give back to you for being a subscriber, for being a Patreon prospector, for being in the Diamonds Hub, and following my journey and following my work. So again, first Friday of every month, if you're interested in getting a consultation, maybe we could do a healing modality for you. There's a lot that we can do. There's instruments, there's singing bowls, there's meditations, there's breath work, there's crystal work, there's cards work. There's a lot of different tools that I can use. So if you're not a subscriber yet, I hope that you'll join us. Again, first Friday is called Diamonds Day. All of the subscription, just go to the subscription page here at marclainhart.com. And I think it posts up in this feed on Facebook Live, I believe. So you can also click on that if you want to become a subscriber. It's for the subscribers, for the Diamonds Hub, it's $4.99 a month. So it's actually cheaper than a cup of coffee. And then my Patreon prospectors, that is not through the Facebook platform. That is actually Patreon. And you have a couple different memberships that you can choose from, which gives you access based on what you choose, including Diamonds Day, monthly readings, access to the early podcast shows that we do of Inspired Living, and of course, some swag if you want to get some spiritual swag. So let's all take a deep breath. Let me give some shout outs to everybody that's joining us today. Grab your coffee, grab your tea. I'm kind of loaded up. I've got my water ready to rock and roll. I've got my nice protein shake, and of course a nice cup of Joe. This is my Kraken mug. You can kind of see the Kraken, kind of see the S with the red eye here. So this morning I'm going to talk about flowers and how flowers only become flowers after they fall. It's a saying that's been used throughout history. It's been used in poetry. It came into my awareness when I was watching a show, and I was just like, oh, that's a good message I think people would need to hear, because the flowers have fallen away, right? But we know with cycles that everything is in a circular motion, like I said, numerology, year of the 9. We're going to start over at the year of the 1 in 2026. Flowers, trees, all the leaves. There's a lot of leaves right now as I look out my window. It's raining and there's leaves. But you got to remember that flowers only become flowers after they fall. And so I'm going to give you some tips, and then we'll do some readings, some live readings. And then if you want to jump over to my YouTube channel, again, you can get at marclainhart.com right here. We'll have another show at 12 p.m. Pacific on my Soul Adventures, the Intuitive Prospector YouTube channel. If you're not one of the prospectors yet that have subscribed, love to have you subscribe and join the journey. So the music today was London Flowers by Jeremy Black. That was what we opened up the show with. All of my music is copyright trademark free, approved by Meta. And this one is called London Flowers. And so it kind of, I put in a song kind of coordinate with the message of today on flowers. And I love going to London. I've been studying in London for well over a decade. And his name is Jeremy Black. So I love to promote people as well and give them, the credit that's credit due. And then, of course, this feeling followed up by the group Black Box, if you're ever interested in these songs that I play. So with that, good morning to Regina. Good morning to Tara. Good morning to Tristan. Good morning, Tara, one of my subscribers. Good morning to you, my friend. Mares, good morning to you. Carolyn, Cree, good morning. Hello from across the pond. Hello, my friend. Good to see you. Jackie, Broadbeck, hello. Henry Aguilera, Tracy Walker, Kira Voigt. I'm not sure if I'm saying your names right. Hilda Reyes, Caroline May, Erica. Good morning, Erica Hassan. Nadia, legit. Good morning to you. So thanks for being here, and I'll just get to the message, and then we'll get to the readings. And how the readings work after the message, I'm when we start to interact digitally, the quantum aspect, right? You can ask me for a reading. I'll take a 2-minute break, get my energy ready, and then we'll come back after the message. And you can do a phone. You can call me on the phone. You can call. You can come into the Zoom. I'll put a link into the Zoom. Good morning to my team, by the way. If you're on, they kind of, no, not kind of, they monitor the comments to make sure that we keep this a very positive community page, unity through community. So don't come in and be spamming people. Don't be trying to get them to go to your page and all that BS, because you'll get blocked out of the community and reported to Facebook. So just don't do it, is the best way to not get yourself banned from the page. But my team keeps a track of comments. So when I put the Zoom link in my business line, you can call in, you can Zoom in, you can comment directly through this interaction, pick a card, pick a book reading, just ask me a question based on my own intuition. And then I give you about 30 seconds to respond. If it's a card, you pick the card, I shuffle, you pick it. That's how it works. And how it works in the queue, if we get a lot of people in the queue, I'm looking for my followers, I'm looking for my subscribers, I'm looking for anybody that sends stars, because the stars help purchase my coffee now that I'm semi-retired. And so that's how that'll work when we get to the reading section. But we're not doing the readings yet, because I want to give you a message about the flower. A flower only becomes a flower after it falls. And what it does, that saying can have a lot of different suggestions. It can have a lot of meanings for it. So if you're in that, if you feel like you've just fallen and life has just kicked you in the growing, and you feel like life just continues to send bad things your way, or just not positive things. A lot of times you're in control of your thoughts. You're not in control of what life dictates. In fact, right off camera here is my reminders, and at the very top it just says life happens. Life didn't ask me what I wanted, but I have great power in how I respond to things or don't respond to things. And so when a flower becomes a flower, it only becomes a flower because it has fallen many times, right? And it's kind of like the old Japanese proverb, get knocked down 7, stand up 8. And that's what life becomes, a series of strengthening, a series of transformation, a series of butterfly or caterpillar to butterfly. And so the saying, a flower only becomes a flower after it falls, it suggests the themes of what you're going through: growth, transformation, acceptance, right? And I want to give you some tips to help you prospect and to navigate the many pathways to what we do, and how we, this last year has been very transformative for me. My federal career came to an end. I had a major surgery. I've lost 60 pounds. I'm doing a lot more stuff that I didn't think that I would be doing: writing, podcasting, clients, and consulting. And so that's the acceptance for me. Today's message is about acceptance, but for you, it could be growth, it could be life lessons, it could be transformation, it could be acceptance. So the first tip that I would give you when you have what life is always going to be throwing at us is to embrace change. And when you embrace change, you're understanding that change is an essential part of our growth. Just like we're not the same that we were a year ago, a day ago, 5 years ago, 50 years ago, almost 53 years ago now for me. But it is an essential part. So when you embrace change, and we're creatures of habit, I get that. But when you embrace the change, that's where your life really takes off. That's where the magic happens. And that's magic, not with a rabbit out of the hat, magic with a CK at the end of it. And that's the metaphysical magic that I talk about. And so what happens is, just like a flower must fall or fail to bloom, you may need to let go of certain aspects of your life to let it grow. That's why we have it up here in the Buddha. You need to let that stuff go, and learn from your loss. So, embrace change, learn from loss. A lot of my work that I do today has come from great loss, traumas, tragedies, grieving, family members, friends, fur babies, all the above, and knowing that I'll make my transition at some point when my time is called, and that's okay, because I don't fear death anymore. Death is not the end. Death is the next journey on the staircase of consciousness and evolution, right? Not everybody believes that, but not everybody has had, we are the sum of our experiences. So not everybody's had my experiences of watching, both brothers move to the spirit world, through murder, through brain cancer, father-in-law, multiple sclerosis, dear friend who committed suicide, my own near-death experience, an NDE and an OBE, an out-of-body experience, my experiences with UAPs and UFOs and my days of the Coast Guard. So my experiences, these are the sum of my experiences. And so I don't expect people to necessarily, believe. I'm not trying to sell you on anything. It's just, let you know if you embrace change and you learn from your loss, you're going to grow and you're going to transform from that. A lot of times, this surgery, my mantra was, this is happening for me, not happening to me. Because when it's for me, it's like that superhero pose where I can just stand like a superhero and be like, yeah, there's times like today, I'm pretty sore from the surgery or from the, the hardware that's in my back now because of the weather. But it's like, okay, you're alive. To feel pain is also to know that you're alive. And that's how you start becoming mindfulness. And that's how you start approaching different things in your journey. So embracing change, learning from loss, reflect on the experience of the loss and the experience that you've gone through. And this is a good time during the fall season is a really good time to reflect, to revive, to rejuvenate, to go within, to know thyself, right? I've got it right off camera on here. I got the card here, to know thyself, right? This is a reminder for me. And it says on this card, self-observation, awakening, self-understanding, and enlightenment. And this last year has been that journey for me, including working with, deep plant medicines and ceremonies and going down the spiritual rabbit hole to understand, and the perspective is much broader and we're more connected than we ever have before. Now, given this upcoming energy of the election here in the United States and great, divide and great, political preferences, this is the time to observe all the energy, not absorb that, right? And I said in our Roaring 20s, if you followed my work, if you followed my journey, I started podcasting, forecasting, and predicting about what our Roaring 20s of transformation and ascension and chaos would be. And here we are. Here we are. I had even, forecasted that the United States will not look like the United States in the future as it is today with all 50 states, whether that's revolution, succession, civil war. That's part of human nature, right? And history teaches us as empires get to 250, which we're right there, a lot of them don't survive. And, I hope that's not the case. I hope that we are united in United States, but we'll find out in a few days if that's the direction that the United States wants to go, or if it wants to go in a different direction, based on democracy. Democracy is a test. Democracy is not, it's a test that is given over time. And so far it's done pretty well. But I've said in our Roaring 20s that we would see great transformation, great ascension, including learning that we're not alone in this universe officially. Most of us, that have had an experience, or most of us that have seen something that we can't explain, we know that this universe is a very big place. And we know that, to think that we're the only ones, not just in the universe, but even on this planet, 70% of this planet is covered with water. And we've only discovered, it ranges from 5% to 15%. But there's a whole lot of stuff we don't know, right? It's just like science. We've only proven with, mathematics, proven about 4% of science as we know it today, right? So if you do mathematics, that means there's 96% we still have not yet learned, and that's what spiritualism is. For me, spiritualism is being ahead and not, necessarily already knowing what physics and science hasn't yet caught up to, right? Working with all the different modalities, just because we don't see it does not mean it's not around us. Microscope, telescope, even the James Webb telescope. I'm telling y'all, I said that we would learn that we're not alone in this universe or on this planet, that we're not the alpha species in our Roaring 20s. So I've still got 6 years to go to be proven wrong, I guess. But, I did a podcast last week on the Drake equation, the Dyson spheres, and Earth 2.0. If you want to go listen to that, you can get Inspired Living wherever you get your favorite podcast from, where you're streaming through all the channels. But in my awareness, in my knowing, or my seeing that I do as a Seattle seer, and having these, develop these abilities, which, trust me, it's not always what I wanted to do. It's not something I ever thought I would be doing. I feel like the James Webb has seen something, a Dyson sphere. If you're not sure what a Dyson sphere is, go listen to the podcast or look it up. If you're not sure what the Drake equation is, look it up. It's all based using mathematics and formulas and advanced technologies that use their planet to advance. And I believe in just, something, just that knowingness. If you're a mom and you've had a child and your child's in trouble, it's kind of that claircognizance of just knowing something without necessarily being able to explain it. Intuition is the same way, and sometimes you have to wait. Sometimes it's not answered. Sometimes I always say wait, watch, and witness, for things to catch up. But I just feel like the James Webb, NASA, our government, the Pentagon, they know that they have discovered something. And a Dyson sphere is something where the planet actually a technology is the species on the planet becomes so advanced that they use their technology to harness the energy of a star or a planet, kind of like our International Space Station, right? We over the years we have transformed to leave the planet, and SpaceX and everything that's going on with that. We're leaving the planet. All the satellites that are going around the globe, Starlink, the International Space Station, we're advancing out in past our planet. And the Dyson sphere these were the Drake's equation, the Dyson sphere were written back in the 1960s by astrophysicists and physicists to mathematically try to measure the universe, but also what we would see in the future if a species advanced with their technology. And then just to me, all the things, all this, so I call it the drip, drip, drip that's been going on. A lot of the alerts that I follow, MUFON, SETI, there's a lot of buzz going on right now. Even just yesterday, there was under oath, there were 3 people that came forward as whistleblowers in front of the Intelligence Committee, which means under oath is a different thing now. This is the first time that, in the last 3 years that we've actually published a report on UAPs, UFOs. We've had congressional money put towards researching this with an agency now. And we have whistleblowers that are coming forward to be protected under oath to say, yeah, that we're not alone. We have vehicles. We have these extra dimensional beings. And so it's interesting, but I feel like the James Webb with the technology, again, that technology, we've advanced 1 million miles out in space, and just something tells me that the James Webb has discovered something like a Dyson sphere, or we're seeing something that lets us know that we're not just the only planet here with advanced life. So that's just part of, that growing, the world has come so far, even just in my 52 years on the planet. I always say I'm BC, I'm before computers, right? So I remember the world without computers. I remember the world without smartphone technology. I remember the world without internet, right? So I'm BC, but now as we move forward with AI, and that's going to be an industrial revolution kind of moment for us in history, this AI is going to really take off. It's already being used in several different locations in several different ways, but that's part of embracing the change. That's embracing growth, right? That's, the flower only becomes the flower. I just got my notification. So yeah, Q&A community, Patreon prospectors at 11:30 a.m. If you're a subscriber. Diamonds Day, you can get those links on the closed pages. So I just got a notification. So it's 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So a flower only falls, or a flower only becomes a flower after it falls, and we're the same way. So we have to embrace change. All this change that's all around us, the technology, the AI, the robotics, moving to space, exploration. It's an exciting time to be alive. It really is become like a Star Wars, Star Trek moment where science fiction really starts to become science fact. So, as you embrace change, learn from your loss as well. Reflect on the experiences of loss or failure. They often provide valuable lessons and or insights that can lead to personal development. One of the books that I've been reading here is this book here, Emotional Intelligence, not so much in the workplace, but how to use, EQ to build strong relationships and thrive in your career. And it's actually, it's a great read, and becoming, intelligent from your emotions and learning from your emotions, learning from life lessons. So again, embracing change, learn from loss. Practicing patience is a big one, y'all. This is something that, I always say the lesson repeats until it completes, or what we resist persists. And practicing patience, growth takes time. Just like the flowers cannot bloom when you want it to, the flower will bloom when it's ready to, right? It's not what we want, it's what we need. And so when you practice patience, be patient with yourself during transitions, during grief, during loss, during change, and understand that becoming your best self is a journey. And one of the things that I always kind of just remind myself is my future self is going to thank me one day for not giving up, because there were times in my journey where just life was overwhelming, right? And it's even one of my tattoos now, the semicolon. If you don't know what that means, look it up. Go prospecting to find that diamond within. It means everything is okay, right? And it means that it's not the end of my sentence. A semicolon is a pause. That means that there's more to come, right? So practicing patience, cultivate resilience. That's a huge one. Focus on building resilience. Resilience is part of that patience And, life challenges can help us become stronger and more adaptable, more flexible. And that's what I've learned in the spiritual pathways of doing, from mediumship to psychic to healing to intuition, is to be flexible, to step outside your comfort zone, to be uncomfortable in learning situations, because that's how you are growing and transforming. And there's been plenty of times over the last, especially this last year, there has been a lot of transformation and a lot of resilience from, a major surgery and, and legal stuff that I'm going through now. So, don't give up. Once growth stops, decay begins. That's always been my mantra. And I can't remember who said it, but it's like education never stops, right? We think that we get to a certain age, we graduated high school, or went on to a trade school, or went into the military, or went to college. It never stops. Education never stops. Education goes from the time you're incarnated, born, to the time you are decarnated and take that last breath, which we call death, to move to that consciousness. And quantum science is telling us that your memories, your love, goes to a different dimension, that energy always has to go somewhere. So we're learning more and more as technology is opening up the doors, and AI is going to open up some of these doors even deeper to questions that we've long been asking throughout history, right? So it's, that's why I got Scooby-Doo behind me now. So, I grew up with Scooby-Doo, and it was always like, what's the mystery? What is the mystery? So that's why I got Scooby-Doo for November. Okay, so embrace change, learn from loss, practice patience, cultivate resilience, find beauty in impermanence. And what I would say is try to recognize the beauty in fleeting moments. It's not always easy. Like I said, if you feel pain, like I'm pretty good in pain today with the weather and get done working out. But it's like I try to embrace that pain to know that I can feel that I'm alive, that I'm here. So far I have a heartbeat. I might need some more coffee, but when you cultivate resilience and you find the beauty in that, in permanence, that is, just appreciate what you have while it lasts, knowing that change is inevitable. It's just change is the only thing constant in life. And so when you can recognize the beauty in these moments and just take a breath and practice the pause, take that pause and practice it, and just step back and say, you know what, I'm thankful to be alive. And there's always something you can find gratitude for. Nurture your inner self is a big part of this. Give yourself grace. Just as a flower needs the right conditions to thrive, just like this planet Earth needs the right conditions to thrive. You wouldn't be thriving if we were Mars, or if we were Venus or Mercury, because we'd be too close to the sun. So everything is about right conditions to thrive, right? The Goldilocks, right? We're in the Goldilocks zone of our planet that allows life to be here today. Again, if we were farther away or closer, it'd be too hot and it'd be too cold. But for some reason, Earth is right in the Goldilocks zone that allows life to flourish. So it's no different than nurturing your inner self, and in the fact that a flower needs the right conditions, you need the right conditions to ensure you're caring for your mental, your emotional, and your spiritual health. The things that I always teach on whether I'm consulting or doing an event or teaching my students. You're a physical being, you're an emotional being, you're a mental being, but you're also a material being, because there is things right now that are going on in the material world that do impact you. Maybe you're a little bit more exhausted from the full blue moon that we just had, or you're just a lot of anxiety from the upcoming election that takes place on Tuesday, right? But these are the material things that do impact our lives. So physical, emotional, mental, material, and the spiritual. I call it the PEMS, the 5 acronyms. I love working with acronyms because it's easy to remember, right? So the PEMS: physical, emotional, mental, material, and spiritual. When you remember that you're all of that in the incarnate physical, what we call the human body, or density of mass that vibrates, then you're here to learn something. You're here for a reason. You're here for a season. You're here for a purpose. The prospect becomes, what am I here for? Why am I journeying to find the diamond? Not only the diamond within, but all the many diamonds and hidden gems that are all around us, if we know where to look. So cultivate resilience and find beauty in fleeting moments is what I would say, and nurture that inner self of who you are. I'd say also celebrate with new beginnings. acknowledging that endings often lead to new opportunities, right? And observing the natural cycle of life is a big part of this journey, right? Just as the trees lose their leaves, we know, all of us know, in the seasons of life, that the leaves will return in the spring. The sun will return. It's, you know, the sun will rise. But, you know, when you celebrate new beginnings, um, you know, it helps you to embrace the fresh start that life presents to us, is what I'm saying. So, you know that, you know, there's a reason and a season for everything. And, you know, this too shall pass. So if you're in a rough way, if you're in a rough go, take a breath. And just examine how you feel. Observe, don't absorb, right? Something I just shared on one of my social media platforms I thought was very relevant. Um, you know, especially with right now, is don't be so quick to believe what you hear, because a lot of times a lie will spread faster than the truth. Even going back to World War II, Winston Churchill said this: a lie will get halfway around the world before he's even put his pants on, right? So just, you know, be mindful of what you're interacting with when it comes to, um, you know, the material world and all the information that's coming through us, whether it's through media, whether it's through social media, whether through its smartphone, whether it's through your family and friends. And just practice that pause and go, okay, I'm going to just celebrate. I know it's going to change, but let me just celebrate this new beginning. Again, it's not happening to me as a victim, it's happening for me. And when you do, when you embrace it that way, and you see, okay, this is a fresh start that life presents, it's quite interesting, right? Um, but where was I getting? So the today was feel the feeling. So feel the feeling of what that feels like. It may feel shitty, it may feel crappy, it may not feel good, but don't become the emotion, is what I'm saying. I teach my students this all the time. You know, when we're sensitives or empaths, we can take on a lot of people's stuff, their energy, their vibration, their vomit, their just their drama, right? Make a barrier and feel that feeling, but don't become that emotion of it, right? Witness it, allow it, release it. Witness it, allow it, release it, right? And it, you know, and especially right now with everything that's going on, the uncertainty, the anxiety, the divide, the politics, the energy, you know, the doom and gloom of war, and all of it, right? It's like, yeah, I can feel that feeling. It feels pretty crappy, but I'm not going to become that, right? And that's where my growth has happened. I used to become them, and I don't do that anymore because I'm observing what is going on around me, but I'm not absorbing it. I'm not, and it made me really sick, and it made me very heavy. I was, you know, I got to the largest weight I'd ever been pre-surgery. It's only been 6 months ago, April, and I'm down. I've lost 60 pounds, and part of that is my own, not just the surgery, but my mindset of transformation to feel the feeling, but don't become the emotion. My wife would always refer to it a couple of years ago when I was going through the dark night of the soul and just trying to figure out, you know, do that light work and the dark work and the soul work. And she would call me dark and stormy. And, you know, and I look back and reflect on that now and like, yeah, she's right. Because I was feeling the feeling, but I was becoming that feeling. So feel the feeling, don't become the emotion. Witness it, allow it, release it. Observe it, don't absorb it, right? And last but not least for today's message is connect with nature. People ask me all the time, Marc, what is your religion? Um, I'm not a religious person. I'm a spiritual person. I have education in religion from my background, from my past. But a spiritual person is usually somebody that has gone through a lot of hell and I connect directly with the divine within and the divine, what you would maybe call God, the beautiful spirit, divine mother. History depends on where you're at in the world. It has many different labels and contexts for it. God, you know, whatever you want it to be. But when you realize that you can connect with nature and you spend time in nature during this time, you gain perspective and an inspiration. You know, I'm an earth sign, I'm a Taurus, so I'm definitely connected to earth. My new tattoo on my back is representative of 3 triangles called the Volknut tattoo, which represents birth, life, death, but also has a mountain scene with vibration signal coming off of it because it's all about going to the mountains, finding that perspective and inspiration and reflection by connecting to nature. So I always tell people when they say, "Are you religious?" I'm like, "Well, my religion is nature. I'm a spiritual person, but I'm not a religious person, because for me, spirituality is more freedom to explore and to prospect for things that I might more align with. Where I find, religion tends to be more crowd control, doctrines, dogmas, fear." Right. I was raised in Catholicism for many, many years. I became an adult in the Catholic Church. And that church alone has over 1 billion followers on the planet. Right. That's one of the major religions. But the doctrine didn't, to me, it was almost a little bit of psychology of, mental abuse. Like, if you're not good enough, you're going to go burn in hell, right? Or if you can't get to heaven and you weren't bad enough to get to hell, then they used to teach this thing called purgatory. You're going to be stuck here. And that, as a little kid, that's scary as hell, right? It's like, why would you tell a kid, like, to keep you, in line, I guess, to keep you from not acting out? But, that to me just didn't resonate with my journey. Especially after I had my near-death experience, especially with my experiences now with deep plant medicines and working through PTSD and survivor's guilt and depression and anxiety. And, connecting with nature can really be beneficial, because if you think about it, y'all, where do all the riches of what we consider to be riches, where do they all come from? They come from the planet. Where does all the medicines come from that aren't man-made? Plant medicine is not alternative medicine, y'all. Plant medicine is the original ancient medicine, and it comes from planet Earth, right? And so when you start to realize how powerful nature is, and I realized how powerful she was in my early Coast Guard days, being out on the Big Blue, right? Being a Coast Guard rescue swimmer, I realized the power of being in the surf and the water and gravity and Mother Nature, can change on a dime, right? But when you connect with nature and you spend time in nature to gain perspective, to maybe heal, to maybe to transform, maybe to let go. I try to go, to the ocean at least twice a year to release, there it is, to release my stuff, right? To release my burdens or my sadness or my grief. And I release it out to Mother Nature. I release it out to the ocean, and then I have her return and bring a little bit of sparkle back with the energy, right? So what you give out can come back. And so when you look at that and you become connected with nature, like I said, my religion is nature. I'm not a religious person, I'm a spiritual person, but you can, observe the natural cycle of life. Just like today's message is, a flower only becomes a flower if it falls, right? But it's still a flower, but it still falls, and yet it reblooms and it comes back. And when you can connect and understand and have awareness to that cycle of life, then it can remind you just how beautiful and how fragile life and transformation can be, right? Life can change on a dime. I've been part of that. I've witnessed it firsthand. And, but it's still the beauty of life and why we're here, right? So, these are just some tips to help you out with today. You can better understand and appreciate the deeper meaning of what I'm saying today by applying it, saying it, writing it, manifesting it into your life, if you choose to, right? Your greatest power while you're here is free will and choice. But I always go with the 3 C's. Make a choice, take a chance, see the change. If you don't risk it, there's no biscuit, right? And once growth stops, decay begins. So I hope that helps for today. Again, a flower only becomes a flower after it falls. And if you're just getting knocked down by life, keep standing up to life, right? Get knocked down 7, stand up 8, because life can throw a lot at us. And like I said, right off camera is just my mantra. It says life happens. It doesn't ask me what it wants to do, but it's about my greatest power is how I respond to it or don't respond to it. So I hope that message resonated with you. We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to cue up some music for us, and then I'll be right back, and we'll get ready for some readings. So let me just give some shout outs to people that are joining us. Hi, Carol. Good morning to you. Hi, Liz. Hi, Suzanne HR. Grant Taylor. Good morning. When Messerina Ochoa. Anna. Hello. Miguel. Hello. Good morning to my mom. Happy Friday, Mom. Gilbert Meja Marino is watching. Good morning. Carol says thank you. You're very welcome, my friend. So we're going to just take a quick 2-minute break. I'm going to go grab my business phone. But what I can do is let me get over to the Intuitive Prospector page here. So again, if you're not following the page, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because this is where you get notifications when I'm live here on my page, through Facebook. And then, of course, if you want to learn more about me, you can just go to marclainhart.com. Podcasts, my book, meditations, whatever you're in search for, whatever you're prospecting for. So let me get into the video here. Okay. Turn the volume down. And then what I'll do is I'll put, so if you want to have a reading with me, again, Diamonds Day is the first Friday of every month. I have I have a morning session and an afternoon session for my subscribers. The first one will be 11:30 today. You get the Zoom link off the subscribers page, either Patreon or the Diamonds Hub. And then again at 3 o'clock this afternoon. I think I said them backwards. But we call the first Friday of every month Diamonds Day. Okay, so let's we'll get the Zoom link ready. If my team can grab these, because sometimes I don't see all the comments live based on the algorithms, so I apologize. But what I'm looking for is my subscribers. You'll have a badge next to it, star senders. You'll go ahead of the queue, right? That's kind of like your VIP pass to get a reading with me. So the Zoom link is going to be in there now. Look for my little avatar. Let's see here. The avatar this morning, I will put, let's put some hearts. Okay, so we'll start with the Zoom link there. And then if you want to call me, on my business line, look for the hello avatar. There it is. And that number is 206-588-0661. That is my business line here. And I'll go grab the phone because I forgot, as I usually do. So look for the hello. And then if you don't want to, if you come in the Zoom room, a lot of times that's for mediumship. I can't do effective evidential mediumship through your comments. I did that early in the day and it does not work. Coming into the Zoom room is one way to do it. We could do it over the telephone. I've done it over the telephone and I'm okay with that. Again, mediumship is, just to define mediumship versus psychic, mediumship is connecting with those that have lived a physical life, an incarnated physical life, and then decarnate and return back to the spirit world, heaven, source, whatever it is, whatever the smorgasbord you choose from, right? That's mediumship. So I don't connect to angels. I don't connect to your spirit guides, which I believe that they're real. I've had my own experiences. But it's just, you can't prove spirit guides. You can't prove angels, right? There's no evidence, information that would necessarily, intelligent communications two ways. That's what mediumship is. So Zoom room will be open. The telephone line, I'm going to go grab the telephone right now. And then you can start to add your comments here, and then I will start to look at your badges. And you can tell me you want a book reading, a card reading. You can ask me a question, and we'll just go prospecting. So give me 2 minutes to go grab the phone. I'm going to just take some breaths in and get ready to work for you. And again, if you're one of my Diamonds Hub or Patreon prospectors, we'll be opening the Zoom room at 11:30 and 3 p.m. today for Diamonds Days. So we'll be right back, maybe, if it allows me. Maybe. Okay, and then we'll put some coffee. And then we'll stop the video. And I'll be right back.
When we're all in a better place, when we're all in a better place, if the wind blows free from the treetops to the ocean, why can't we be in a better place? shards in the sun, and it rains on everyone, and everything's undone and broken, until we're all in a better place. Yeah, we're all in a better place. When the water flows straight down to the ocean, why are the lines so hard to trace? Your life, but I just want to be together, you and me, from sea to shining sea, the way it used to be. Remember, remember, we were all in a better place. Yeah, we were all in a better place. Yeah, the river runs wide, nothing is for certain. Why let this moment go to waste? Are you ready for that grand embrace? Right here in a better place. Yes, yeah. Oh, oh, oh.
All right, welcome back. That was a Better Place by Peter McConnell. Again, all of my, well, let's put on back, have the copy there. That's music that's copyright, trademark free, royalty free, so I don't have to pay for that. And I've been approved to play it on all of my shows or my podcasts or my YouTube channel. So while I was grabbing the phone, the reading room is open. So if you want to come into Zoom, you'll be put in the waiting room while I'm working, and you can come in live. Just ask if you do come into the Zoom room that you turn your volume down or pause the show, just so we don't get any reverberation or feedback of me hearing myself. That makes it really hard to work. And then, of course, I'll be checking the Facebook page for your comments. We can work. This is where we can work in the digital aspect, where you can pick a card. I got 14 decks today. You can pick 1 through 14. You can give me a book read. Or you can call me at 206-588-0661. That is my business line here. So what I did is I was kind of looking, this is a book that I've been, Emotional Intelligence. And one of the things it talked about growth mindset and contemplating your behavior. And again, what I was talking about, a flower only becomes a flower if it falls, right? So contemplating your behavior. Do you have a fixed mindset or do you have a growth mindset? You can answer that, right? Do you believe your intelligence or level of a certain skill can't change very much? Do you believe that you were born with certain qualities, such as being smart, creative, funny, or good at sports, and that those can't be developed much? Or do you believe how you show up behaviorally in the workplace is outside of your control? So it's a great book, Emotional Intelligence. Growth mindset, in contrast to a fixed mindset, a growth mindset is a perspective that acknowledges challenges and setbacks as essential elements in the process of reaching goals. So if you're reaching goals, know that there's going to be some setbacks, and there's going to also be some challenges through that. But it's about what I was talking about with the messages today, about perseverance, about strength, about discipline, about dedication, and moving forward. So, all right. So Zoom room is open. If my team can grab any comments I'm missing, again, looking for the badges. Hi, Kelly. How are you? Hi, Sierra Ruiz. All right. So I'll just wait for the questions to roll in. You can tell me that you can ask, you want a card reading, but the reading room is open. And then at 11:30, so in about 30 minutes for my prospectors, my Patreon prospectors, and my Diamond Sub subscribers, if you're a subscriber, you can wait till you do the reading then too. So But we are open. The reading room is open. So if you want to come in, call, or post a comment, please do so right now. Hopefully I can start this month the Experience the Etheric. That's something I've been working on. And I'll do it on a different day, probably Monday nights is what I'm thinking. So do live readings to Experience the Etheric, something that I teach on. So okay, so I'm not seeing any questions coming in. So maybe we'll call it early. I can call it an early day. That's no problem. So again, reading room is open. Zoom room link is there. Look for the avatar with hearts. So Kelly, you're in Michigan. Welcome, welcome, welcome. One of my colleagues and students is in Michigan. Or look for the Zoom link for Zoom, and then look for the heart avatar or the hello avatar. So, okay. I'll give it one more minute here. And if we don't have any questions, then we can please be on me. So again, this is my pro bono work. This is the time I give back for you to interact. And if you want to ask a question, you got something on your heart, you want a card, you want to connect to be a mediumship, a loved one, we can give it a go. You know, I always remind people that I work for the spirit world. They don't work for me, but I'm always happy to open up and see what comes through. It's very fascinating, actually. But you have to call or come to the Zoom room. You can't do it through the comment section, and I don't do private messages. That just doesn't work. So hi Clayton, hi MD, Ajish, Renos, hello to you. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So this is our community page for Metaphysical Meetup with Marc. I am your host, Marc Lainhart, the Intuitive Prospector. You can catch me here Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then you can also catch my podcast, which is now syndicated and on all the major platforms. Wherever you listen to your podcast, we're going into our 9th season. And I only got a few shows left. And last week I talked about Dyson spheres, Earth 2.0, and the Drake's equation. So if you're interested in that sci-fi nerdy geek stuff like me, obviously I'm a sci-fi guru. Love the imagination, but again, science fiction at some point usually becomes science fact. It's just curious to me. It's just interesting to me. So, but if you're my subscribers, at 11:30 here in about a half hour, I will open up the Zoom room off of the Patreon Prospector page or the Diamond Hubs page. You can get those links if you're a subscriber. If you have not yet subscribed, go over to marclainhart.com right here, or click on the comments that's streaming through this feed, and you can sign up to become a subscriber either through Patreon or through the Diamonds Hub. Your choice, or you can do both. It's fine. But those links are available on those closed private pages. If you want to ever visit my development group, I have a few new members, and we have a visitor next week. But I give 2 visitors pass if you want to, kind of explore what spiritual development is, mentoring, practicing exercises, psychic, mediumship, healing, intuition. So everything that encompasses spiritual journey. That's on Wednesdays via here Zoom. You won't find the link anywhere. You can go to marclainhart.com and click on the big blue diamond. That will generate an email to myself or my manager to get a visitor's pass. We have a closed page here on Facebook, but it's not searchable. You can't find it. And we meet Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for about 2 hours. And then, we just develop and we practice and we come through unity, through community. So another way to grow, or to, if you've got a lot of questions or a lot of, things that are not making sense, then I always say find a teacher that you resonate with, find somebody that has had a lot of experiences like myself that can kind of give you a different perspective and that flexibility for all the changes that we just talked about today. So, all right, let's see here. You got some comments coming in. So reading room is open. If you want to ask me a question, you got it, Tara. Can I get a message about career? Always a struggle for me. A book message, please. Okay. Hi, Jarno. Hi, David. Hi, Luis. Hi, Marion. Hi, Bill. Hi, Jane. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, so reading room is open. You can come in through the Zoom room. You can come into the telephone. Numbers out there. Zoom links out there. Or you can post a comment like Tara just did. She wants a book reading. So you want it about career, though, right? So I'm trying to find a book that would be career Well, let's do this. Let's let's give this a go, Tara. You know how this works. It's like a box of chocolates. Give me a page number between page 1 and page 124. So Tara's on deck. Hey Nick, Jane saying good evening. Forgot about the hour time change. Yeah, you guys are a week ahead of us. We will fall back on the 7th, which is Monday for us, or Sunday at 2. So I hate falling back, but yeah, Jane, you're always a week ahead of us here in America. And Jane's over in Wales. So page 113. Awesome. All right. So here's the book. I just, it's funny, you talk about career. Marc Kramer's his name. How to use emotional intelligence, or EQ, to build strong relationships and thrive in your career. So you picked 113. And what's we'll see if the message coordinates, but I love doing this with books, especially what's going on with your career. So it's an EQ self-assessment that you picked. So I'm going to give you some questions, and you have to answer these. You don't have to answer them here, Tara, but it says, let's see here. Reflect on the score you received after taking the emotional intelligence self-assessment located on page 126. Okay, so we have to go to page 126, and I'll ask you some questions, and then we'll come back to 113. But it's interesting because it's like you pick the page 113, it's talking about giving you assessments. So we got to go to page 126 and ask these questions. So I'm just going to give you 5 questions to help you just kind of identify. Again, 1 through 5 is the score matrix. So 1 is not at all. So you might want to write this down, Tara. Hey, Frank, welcome. Not at all is a 1. Rarely is a 2. Sometimes is a 3. 4 is often, and 5 is very often. So it's a score of 1 through 5. So I'm going to ask you these questions, Tara, and you rate that based on your overall score, and then we'll come back and we'll do assessment on them. Kind of cool. I've never done this before. All right. I can recognize my emotions as I experience them. That's question number 1 for Tara. And we're doing an emotional intelligence assessment for her because she's wanting to know more about her career. So 1 through 5, not at all, rarely, sometimes, often, or very often. So write that down, 1 through 5. And again, and anybody else can do this as well, since this isn't just for Tara, but this is focused on her. So 1 is not at all, 2 is rarely, 3 is sometimes, 4 is often, 5 is very often. That's the scale. I can recognize my emotions as I experience them. So you have to rate yourself through a 1 through 5. And these are important. I find that these are important to do. I've done a DISC assessment. I've done a Myers-Briggs profile. In fact, there's my Myers-Briggs profile right there. You can see that. I did it all the way back in 2014, right? So assessments are very helpful, especially for your career, since you struggle with that, Tara. So, so that was the first question. I can recognize my emotions as I experience them. Number 2, I lose my temper when I feel frustrated. Number 3, people have told me that I'm a good listener. Number 4, I know how to calm myself down when I feel anxious or upset. Number 5, I enjoy organizing groups. Hey, Paul. Hey, Tony. Hey, Henry. Hey, Mares. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Reading room is open, so if you have a question, you can come in on the phone, you can come in the Zoom room, or you can ask in the comments section. And Jane, since you're here, can you kind of just monitor the comments for me, if you don't mind? Since you're here, Jane's part of the team of keeping the community positive and uplifting. Hey, Jimmy. Paul O'Rourke, welcome, welcome. So out of those questions, again, I'll say them one more time, Tara. I can recognize my emotions as I experience them. I lose my temper when I feel frustrated. People have told me that I'm a good listener. Number 4, I know how to calm myself down when I feel anxious or upset. And number 5, I enjoy organizing groups. So there's a lot more questions. Just for the sake of time, we don't have to get through this. But we're going to go back to your original page. Hey, Justin. Hey, Daryl. Hey, Jimmy. You picked 113. So again, what this is telling me, and this may not make sense right now, but I would say, Tara, if you're struggling with career, go do an assessment. A DISC assessment's great. A Myers-Briggs profile, to know thyself, right? The card that I was holding up earlier, to know thyself. Those are important, and assessments can help you do that. Or get this book and take the actual assessment. That's the book, Emotional Intelligence in the Workplace by Marc Kramer. Fitting that puzzle together, right? It's a puzzle. But on 113, it says this: did your overall score reveal an accurate picture where you think you are in terms of your competence and emotional intelligence? So questions as you consider your answers and scores, identify the specific areas you see as opportunities in areas such including self-awareness and whether you're able to recognize emotions as you experience them. You'll want to make a plan for how to better tap into your feelings. This may mean learning to be more mindful and checking in to notice what you are feeling at any given moment. There's a rating on this, and it says if you score between a certain particular state, yeah, so you'd have to do the whole assessment to make it work. But what's interesting is it says create SMART goals, SMART. So SMART, and I have this actually on my desktop. So this is what I'm going to say to you. Oh, I used to have it on my desktop. It's not there anymore. Shoot. Where did it go? Okay, I was going to read to you what SMART was, so I'll just read it to you out of the book. I have to go look it up. And again, if you have any questions, the reading room is open. And we're doing an assessment. SMART goals 114 to 116. 114. So we're just one page over from 113, Tara, that you had asked for a book reading, and it's just, again, we're talking about getting an assessment, right? So 114 is the first step is to create goals related to your competency in emotional intelligence for your career, right? And make them SMART, S-M-A-R-T, all caps. And that is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. I had a little post-it in on my desktop, and it used to be up at the top, and it's gone. So I'm gonna have to see where it went. But that's what I would say to you, to instead of wondering about your career and the ups and downs of your career, start to tune into yourself, do an assessment on yourself. Again, there's free ones. You can get the book and do it in the book if you want, or do a disc profile. Myers-Briggs can be a little expensive. When I worked for the federal government, they paid for it. I took it twice, and it came back, each time it was if you answer it honestly and openly and truthfully, you're going to get a better narrative of who you are and a better perspective of who you are and how you fit into that culture of what you're trying to, do for a job. But for the rest of you, the SMART acronym again is specific. The first step is to create goals related to your competency in emotional intelligence and make them SMART. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Be sure these SMART goals are actionable by making them behavioral specific. Measurable means they need to have an element that can be verified via some type of quantified, qualified feedback from others. So again, when we're in group, in my spiritual development group, SDG, I think it's very important to have democracy for one, because it's it's the will of the people. But with my group, I don't come in with a dictator, authoritarian mindset and say this is how we're going to do it. It's very important to receive perspective and feedback for something that you may not be aware of. So that's does that make sense, Tara? As far as I think you should get this book, or go take an assessment just to get a better, deeper understanding of how maybe why you're fitting in the culture or not fitting in the culture. Like I can tell you where I'm at on my journey, I will never work for the federal government ever again. 23 years was enough for me. So, but if you could put in the comment section, that'd be awesome, just so we can get some perspective. But again, you picked page 113 out of this book. It's telling you to do an assessment on thyself to know thyself, and then you can score that based on the questions, just 5 questions asked. There was like 30 questions, so we don't have time to do that. But that was fun. Thank you for participating in prospecting today in the reading room, just so I could do that, because I don't think I've ever used this book on any of my shows. So let me know, Tara. Let me know how that goes. All right. Hi, Daryl. Hi, Justin. Hey, Bertie, Jerry, John, Bill Towers Jr. Hello. Paul Blackburn. Hello. All right. So let me know, Tara. Please let me know. I'd love to see how that works out for you. But again, you picked a page that's telling you to go get an assessment on yourself to know thyself. I think that's pretty cool. All right. Any other questions for today? The reading room is open. Hi, Terry. I'm going to keep the room open for just a few more minutes because I'm going to be heading over to my other Zoom room for my Diamonds Days for my subscribers. And it's the first Friday of every month is dedicated to my subscribers to have consulting, meditations, healing, sound bath, advice, psychic, mediumship. It really just depends. And I give each person that shows up depending on how many people show up, we then kind of break down the time, like how much time do you have? You know, if I've got 5 people waiting, then it's going to be about 10 minutes per person, 5 to 10 minutes. So, all right. Yes, it makes sense. So Tara, I think it's just cool that you picked that page number and it's telling you to get assessed. She said, yes, it makes sense. I need to know who I am outside working for the government, outside of my family. Well, yeah, if you work for the government, I know that path very well. Like I said, I did it for 23 years, and it is very slow going. It's very it's like a sloth world. Everything moves slow. Nothing moves fast. They're so behind the times. Everything is knee-jerk reaction. The bureaucracy, the red tape. I was like, you know, after 22 years, I'm done, signed out. So a lot of patience for that. But yeah, I would say see if your job can maybe even do if they could pay for a profile, you know, like a team building event or something like that. I know, like I said, my Myers-Briggs, when I first was in college, I did it and I didn't answer it truthfully, and it kind of skewed the narrative of who I thought I should be. And then when I finally really asked and answered it truthfully, it gave me a much better perspective. And again, it can be very expensive, but if you can get somebody to pay for it, then why not? So, all right. So hi, Clara. Hi, Randy. Hi, Glenn Russell, Laura Ann, Kelly Lee. Awesome. We got a lot of people tuning in today. So I don't think the number up above, I don't think it represents the actual who's on, because all these names keep dropping in. There's definitely more than 6 of you here. So like Kelly, you're welcome, Tara. Thanks for being a subscriber. Thanks for following me on this journey, and I hope that helps. And report back on the assessment. See what it turns out to be for you, because you may be in the wrong role, and you're like, and we age, right? We change, right? And it may be time for a new change. It might be time for, you know, including your family, changes in your family, changes in your career, changes in your status, changes in your health, right? Those all play a part. So you're very welcome. So hi, Corey Sullivan. All right, last call. If I did miss your comment, please put a little bump asterisk and then ask your question again, because sometimes I don't get all the questions in real time. The algorithm sometimes. I hiccup. Sometimes I miss them. So and again, if my team, if you catch any of the comments, they can hide them and gray them out if there's anybody like just being rude or spamming. So, but if I missed your comment, this is the time to ask it. And then I'm going to head over to the subscribers platform for anybody that needs a reading. That's one of my subscribers for Logan's Diamonds Days. First Friday of every month, it is Diamonds Day. Pretty cool. There we have that interaction via Zoom. All right. Hi, Joseph. All right. Last call for the read room. And you can also catch my next show over on my YouTube channel at noon Pacific. That was, I can't remember what I talked about. Forgot. So, or you can catch my podcast late. We'll have another podcast on the 13th, so 2 weeks from now. And then 13th and the 27th for November. And then I might do 2 podcasts in December, depends. I usually take December off as kind of my spiritual maintenance month. But now that I'm retired, maybe I don't have to do that. So I've got at least 4 shows left of Inspired Living for this year before we get into 2025. And if you didn't catch last week's show, you can go catch it wherever you get your favorite podcast. Talked about Earth 2.0, the Drake's equation, and Dyson spheres. If you don't know what any of that means, go listen to it. It's very fascinating. I did a lot of research and a lot of time building that show because I'm fascinated with that. So, okay, well, I'm going to cue up the music. I don't see any other questions coming in. I appreciate all of you tuning in today for Metaphysical Meetup with Marc. Again, we try to be here on Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you want to learn more about the journey, again, what I'm doing, what I'm teaching, what I'm writing, what I'm podcasting, you can get all your information here at marclainhart.com, or just internet search the Intuitive Prospector. And I look forward to prospecting with you in maybe the near future or the distant future, or whatever I can do to help you find the diamond within, and also find the many hidden gems that are all around us. As I always say, we have 3 eyes in life: 2 to look, 1 to see. So I hope that helps. So hey, Walt, hey, Wes. All right, so we'll call that. Let me cue up a good song to take us out. It's a good song. All right, we'll actually close with this song from Lainhart. It's a pop song. I think that's the name of the artist. Yeah, artist is called Lainhart, L-I-N-A-I-R-E. And it is called Flowers. So today's message was a flower doesn't become a flower until it falls, and then it becomes a flower. So get knocked down 7, stand up 8. I hope that today's message resonates with you. And until the next time we meet, wherever that may be kind, be caring, be compassionate. Remember to observe, not absorb all of the energy and all the chaos that's going on in our world. And most importantly, dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live. And I hope you discover that diamond within. We'll see you next time here on Metaphysical Meetup with Marc Lainhart. Take care, everybody. Namaste.
Flowers found my hair. Flowers found my hair. Right to my heart. Flowers found my hair. Flowers found my hair. Right to my heart. When I'm alone, they take me home from the rain to the snow. When I'm alone, they take me home from the rain to the snow.
One planet, 7.3 billion people, only one you. Life offers us many opportunities and learning experiences. Are you ready to explore and discover this beautiful planet, the life and energy all around us, the spiritual world, and what is unseen, along with your own personal soul adventure? Marc Lainhart, the intuitive prospector, is the spiritual connection you have been prospecting for. Internationally known as a tested and professional clairvoyant medium and spiritual advisor, Marc's work as a metaphysical teacher, medical instructor, radio show host, inspirational writer, and hiking guide are here to help you on a journey of self-discovery, healing, inspiration, education, and a whole lot of spiritual awesomeness. Dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live. For more information on Marc's spiritual practice in Seattle, Washington, please visit marclainhart.com or internet search The Intuitive Prospector.